Focus for a moment. What you're about to hear is something most people miss their entire life. From a young age, we're taught that being good, honest, and doing the right thing is enough to succeed. But that belief is not the full picture. The world doesn't always reward the nicest person in the room, and many times, the person who understands people at a deeper level ends up winning. You've probably seen it. Someone stays quiet, watches everything, and still comes out on top while others try to do everything right. That's not luck. That's awareness. There's more going on beneath the surface than most people ever notice about how people behave and how decisions actually get made. And if you don't see it, you're not playing the game, you're being played. What I'm about to show you is about seeing clearly and moving with purpose in a world that doesn't explain its rules. A few days ago, I saw something that didn't make sense at first, and the reason behind it is not what most people expect. Two people were in a discussion. One had better facts and a stronger offer. He should have won, but he didn't. The other walked away with everything. Why? At first, it looks simple, but what actually decided the outcome is something most people completely miss. One focused on being right, the other understood control and timing. And the uncomfortable part is, this isn't rare. It's happening around you more often than you think. If you miss what's actually happening underneath, you can still lose even when everything looks right on your side. And the cost is real, and most people don't even realize it until it's too late. Over 500 years ago, Niccolo Machiavelli lost power and began breaking down how power actually moves behind the scenes. While others described how life should be, he focused on reality. What he noticed was something most people still ignore today. People don't always act the way they speak, especially when something important is on the line, and power goes to those who understand the hidden rules. Today, I'm going to break that down into simple ideas you can actually use, not theory, clear ways of thinking, so you stop being caught off guard and start moving with purpose. If you apply them, you won't just react to life, you'll begin to understand it before it unfolds. Before we go further, understand this. These ideas are tools. The goal is not to become cold, but to see clearly and make better choices. Use this to stay aware, protect your time and energy, and move smarter when it matters most. And everything starts with this, the one shift most people never make. Now, before we move forward, drop this in the comments. I choose to see clearly and think smart. Let's start. Number 1. See people as they truly are. This is where everything begins. The biggest mistake most people make is simple. They don't look at people clearly. They see what they want to see instead of what is actually there. They trust words too quickly. They believe promises too easily. And when someone shows clear signs of being unreliable, they explain it away instead of accepting it. That mistake costs people more than they realize. It costs time, energy, peace, and sometimes years of effort built on the wrong person. Here is the truth. Most people act based on what benefits them, not always in a bad way, but when it really matters, people protect their own interests first. That doesn't make them evil. It makes them human. The problem is not that people do this. The problem is when you pretend they don't. When you ignore patterns, you end up surprised by things that were obvious from the start. The cold eye means you stop doing that. You stop guessing, hoping, and assuming. Instead, you watch closely. You pay attention to actions, not just words. Anyone can say they are loyal, honest, or reliable. But what do they do when it actually costs them something? That's where the truth shows up. Start looking for patterns. One action can mean nothing, but when the same thing happens again and again, it shows a clear pattern. That's exactly who they're showing you they are. And when you see it clearly, you don't argue with it, and you don't try to rewrite it in your mind. You accept it and adjust your behavior. This also means separating your feelings from your decisions. You can like someone and still know they are not dependable. You can respect someone and still choose not to trust them with important things. How you feel about someone doesn't define who they are, their actions do. Having a cold eye does not mean expecting the worst from everyone. It means seeing what is actually in front of you without adding your own story on top of it. Some people will prove themselves to be strong, loyal, and consistent. When they do, you recognize it clearly. But you don't confuse hope with reality. When you learn to see like this, something changes. You stop being shocked. You stop being misled. And you stop paying the price for ignoring what was already there. Now drop this in the comments. I see people for who they really are. Number 2. Don't reveal everything you know. Many people believe that simply knowing a lot makes them powerful, but that's not completely true. What really matters is knowing more than others think you know, while showing less than you actually do. The moment you reveal everything, you become easy to read. And once someone can read you, they can predict you. Think about this. The person who talks too much often shares more than they should without noticing it. They share their plans, their worries, their goals, sometimes without even realizing it. Meanwhile, the person who listens carefully is collecting all of that information without giving much in return. Over time, that creates a gap. And that gap is where real advantage lives. This doesn't mean you stay silent all the time. It means being careful with what you share and when you share it. Ask more questions than you answer. When you ask, you learn. When you talk too much, you reveal. The goal is to understand the other person clearly before they fully understand you. Also, take time to observe before you jump in. When you enter a new place, whether it's a group, a workplace, or any situation, don't rush to prove yourself. Watch how people act. Notice who others listen to. Notice who actually makes decisions and who just looks important. Most people miss this because they are too busy trying to be seen. Another key part is protecting your own information. Not everyone needs to know your plans, your next move, or your weak points. When you share everything with everyone, you give people tools they can use against you later, even if they don't mean to at first. Being open is good, but being selective is smarter. Pay close attention to how people act when they think no one is watching. That's when their real behavior shows. How someone treats others when they have nothing to gain tells you more than anything they say in a formal setting. When you build this habit, you stop guessing. You start seeing clearly. You understand people faster, and you make better decisions because of it. And while others are trying to figure things out, you are already one step ahead without needing to show it. Now write this below. I speak less and understand more. Number 3. Control your response, not your impulse. Every single day, someone will try to pull a quick reaction out of you. It might be a comment that feels disrespectful, a situation that feels unfair, or a moment that hits your ego. And right away, something inside you pushes you to act fast, to defend yourself, to answer back, to prove something. That first push feels strong, almost automatic, but most of the time, that reaction is exactly what puts you at a disadvantage. When you react without thinking, you give control to the other person. They don't need to outthink you if they can simply trigger you. The moment they know what makes you angry, nervous, or impatient, they can start steering your actions without you even noticing it. And once that happens, you are no longer deciding your moves. You are being led into them. Your real advantage comes from the moment you choose not to react instantly. that small gap between what happens and what you decide to do next. Most people skip it. They jump straight from feeling to action. But the people who stay in control always take that pause, even if it's just a few seconds. In that space, you can think clearly. You can decide what actually helps you, instead of what just feels good in the moment. Let's make this simple. When something pushes you, don't answer right away. Take a breath. Then ask yourself two things. What result do I actually want here? And which response will help me reach it? The answer is almost never the first thing that comes to mind. In a conversation, the person who stays calm looks stronger than the one who gets loud. In a disagreement, the person who chooses their words carefully has more control than the one who rushes to speak. Even silence can be powerful when used at the right time. It makes the other person unsure, and that uncertainty gives you space to think and move wisely. This doesn't mean you stay quiet forever or avoid standing up for yourself. It means when you do speak or act, it is chosen, not forced out of you. You move with intention, not emotion. When you train yourself to pause instead of react, you take back control of your behavior. And once you control that, it becomes very hard for anyone else to control you. Now type this in the comments. I choose my response, not my reaction. Number 4. Build power through consistency. There are two kinds of predictability, and people often confuse them. One makes you weak, and the other makes you powerful. If people can predict your emotions, they can control you. But if people can rely on your actions, they begin to respect you. That difference changes everything. Most people are inconsistent. They work hard when they feel motivated and slow down when they don't. They keep promises when it's easy and break them when it becomes uncomfortable. Because of that, others never fully trust them. They might seem capable, but they don't feel dependable, and without that trust, real influence never forms. Consistency means showing up the same way, again and again, especially when it's not easy. It means if you say you will do something, it gets done. Not sometimes, not when you feel like it, but every time. Over time, this builds a strong reputation. People begin to expect a certain level from you, and that expectation becomes your quiet power. This is not about being perfect. It's about being reliable. When others know they can count on you, they treat you differently. They take your words seriously. They give you more responsibility. And they trust you in moments that actually matter. Start by choosing a few things that you will not break, no matter what. These are your standards. It could be finishing what you start, showing up on time, or doing your work properly, even when no one is watching. These small actions may not look big in the moment, but repeated over time, they shape how people see you and how you see yourself. There is also a hidden strength in consistency. When you are steady most of the time, any change you make stands out more. If you are usually calm, one strong statement carries more weight. If you are known for delivering, one bold move gets noticed immediately. Your normal behavior creates contrast, and that contrast gives your actions more impact. In the end, showing up the same way over time builds a kind of trust that talent alone can't create. And once you have that, you don't need to prove yourself every time. Your actions have already done it for you. Now drop this affirmation. I show up and stay consistent no matter what. Number 5. Be careful where you place trust. Most people don't lose because they trust too little. They lose because they trust too easily and give the same level of access to everyone. They share their thoughts, plans, and personal details without checking if the other person has truly earned that level of trust. Over time, this creates problems they don't see coming. Trust isn't something you should hand out freely without thinking. Think of it like something valuable that should be given carefully. The more you spread it without thinking, the weaker it becomes. When you trust the wrong people, you give them information, time, and access that they may not handle well. And when things change, that can come back to hurt you. Not everyone in your life holds the same role, and they shouldn't be treated the same way. Some people are just part of your daily life. Some are close, but only in easy times. And then there are a few people who have stayed solid, even when things were difficult. Those are the ones who earn real trust. Another important part is how you treat your own word. If you don't keep promises to yourself, it becomes harder to trust your own decisions. And when you can't trust yourself, it affects everything else. Start by doing what you say you will do, even in small things. That builds a strong base. You don't need to become distant or closed off. You just need to be aware. Give trust in levels. Let people earn more over time through their actions, not just their words. When you do this, your circle becomes stronger. You avoid unnecessary problems, and the people around you hold real value. Trust, when used wisely, becomes a strength instead of a risk. Now write this down. I give trust slowly and wisely. Number 6. Prepare before the moment arrives. Most people wait for something to happen, and then they react to it. But the ones who stay ahead don't wait. They prepare before the moment arrives. They place themselves in a position where they are ready when the opportunity shows up or when a problem appears. From the outside, it may seem like luck, but it's actually preparation done early. Think about two people facing the same situation. One is ready, the other is not. When the moment comes, one moves smoothly while the other struggles to catch up. The difference didn't start at that moment. It started much earlier, in the choices they made before anything happened. Positioning means thinking ahead. It means asking yourself where things are going, not just where they are right now. Instead of waiting until you need a skill, you start building it early. Instead of waiting until you need connections, you build relationships over time. Instead of waiting for pressure, you decide in advance how you will handle it. This applies in simple ways. If you know you want to grow in something, you begin working on it before anyone asks. If you know a challenge is coming, you prepare while things are still calm. Small actions done early create strong advantages later. Another part of positioning is understanding your place in any situation. Not everyone who looks important actually has control. Sometimes the quiet person has more influence than the loud one. If you take time to observe, you can see where real decisions are being made. That helps you move smarter instead of guessing. The key is to move before you are forced to. Don't wait until things become urgent. By then, your options are already limited. When you prepare early, you have more choices, and better ones. When you build strong positioning over time, you stop feeling rushed. You stop reacting in panic. You begin to act with confidence because you are ready before others even realize what's happening. Type this in the comments. I prepare before the moment arrives. Number 7. Step back when it makes you stronger. This is something many people struggle to accept. They think stepping back means losing. They think if they don't fight every battle, they look weak. But in reality, trying to win every small fight often leads to bigger losses later. Not every situation is worth your time and energy. Not every argument needs your response. And not every challenge is worth the cost it takes to win it. Many times, it's just your ego pushing you to react, to prove a point, to never back down. But when you follow that thinking every time, you waste energy on things that don't truly matter. A strategic retreat means choosing your battles carefully. It means stepping back from situations that don't move you forward, even if you feel like you could win them. You're not quitting. You're deciding that your time, energy, and focus are too valuable to spend on something small. For example, if someone tries to pull you into a pointless argument, walking away can be the smarter move. Winning that argument might feel good for a moment, but it doesn't improve your position. It just drains you. The same goes for situations where the cost is higher than the reward. If continuing leads to more loss than gain, stepping back is not failure, it's a correction. There are also times when the other side is stronger in that moment. Pushing forward without preparation can lead to damage that takes a long time to recover from. In those cases, stepping back allows you to regroup, build strength, and return at a better time with a better plan. The key is to separate your feelings from your decisions. Your ego wants to hold ground at all times, but strategy asks a different question. Does this actually help me in the long run? If the answer is no, then stepping back is the right move. When you learn this, you stop wasting effort. You save your strength for the moments that truly matter, and when those moments come, you are ready to act with full focus. Now drop this below. I choose my battles with clarity. Number 8. Think beyond the present moment. Most choices people make are driven by what feels comfortable in the moment. They pick what removes stress quickly, what gives fast results, or what makes them comfortable in the moment. But those short-term choices often create bigger problems later. Over time, this keeps people stuck in the same place, repeating the same results year after year. The long game is different. It focuses on where you want to be, not just how you feel today. It means making decisions that may feel harder now, but build something stronger over time. Instead of asking, what is easiest right now, you ask, what will actually help me later? That small shift changes everything. For example, someone thinking short-term might avoid a challenge because it feels difficult. But someone thinking long-term steps into that challenge because they know it builds skill and strength. What feels uncomfortable today becomes an advantage tomorrow. Another part of the long game is patience. Not every move needs to happen immediately. Many people rush because waiting feels uncomfortable, but when you move too fast, you often miss better opportunities. Sometimes the smartest move is to hold your position, observe, and act only when the timing is right. People who think long-term also don't show everything they can do right away. They allow others to underestimate them. This creates space. When the important moment arrives, they perform at a higher level than expected, and that surprise works in their favor. To use this in your own life, start by having a clear idea of where you want to go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be clear enough to guide your daily choices. Then ask yourself if what you're doing today is helping you move in that direction or just keeping you comfortable. The long game is not about waiting forever. It's about building step by step with purpose. And when you stay consistent with that approach, your progress starts to grow in a way that others don't always see coming. Type this now. I focus on long-term growth, not quick comfort. Number 9. Become someone who cannot be shaken. All of this builds toward one final shift. Seeing clearly, staying calm, choosing your words, building trust carefully, thinking ahead, and playing the long game. None of it matters if you don't build a strong version of yourself that can hold all of it together. Most people depend on outside results to feel confident. When things are going well, they feel strong. When things go wrong, they start to doubt themselves. This makes their confidence unstable. It goes up and down based on what's happening around them, and that becomes a problem at the exact moment when they need to stay steady the most. An unstoppable identity is different. It doesn't depend on the situation. It comes from how you see yourself and how you act every single day. The habits you follow quietly shape who you become over time. Keeping your word. even when no one is watching, staying disciplined even when it would be easier to stop, moving forward even when progress feels slow. These small actions may not look important in the moment, but they add up. Each time you follow through, you prove something to yourself. You build evidence that you can rely on. Over time, that creates a strong inner base. So, when things get difficult, you don't break easily because you've already trained yourself to handle pressure. This also means knowing what you stand for, not based on what others expect from you, but based on your own clear decisions. When you know your direction, outside opinions have less power over you. You can listen, but you don't lose your path. Another part of this identity is consistency, not just in big moments, but in small, everyday ones. The way you handle simple tasks, the way you manage your time, the way you respond to pressure, these are the things that shape who you become. Big moments don't create your identity, they reveal it. When you build this kind of identity, something important changes. Challenges don't feel as overwhelming. You don't panic as easily. You don't stop moving forward just because things get hard. You adjust, you learn, and you continue. This doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you become stronger. Problems will still come. Situations will still test you. But the way you respond is different. You don't lose control. You don't lose direction. Over time, people start to notice this. Not because you talk about it, but because they see it in how you act. You become someone who can be trusted, someone who stays steady, someone who doesn't break under pressure. That is what makes you hard to stop. Not luck, not talent alone, but the identity you've built through your actions. And once that identity is strong, it carries you through situations that would stop most people. Write this in the comments. I am steady, focused, and hard to break. Now bring everything together. The way you see people clearly, the way you pause instead of reacting, the way you listen more than you speak, the way you stay consistent, protect your trust, prepare early, step back when needed, and think long-term. None of these ideas work on their own. They connect and strengthen each other. And that system shapes how you move through every situation. You're no longer trying to figure things out. You start seeing what's happening as it unfolds. You are no longer being pulled by every emotion. You are choosing your actions. You are no longer rushing into things without thinking. You are stepping in with awareness and control. When all of this comes together, you stop feeling lost in difficult moments. You understand what's going on faster than others. You make better decisions because you're not acting blindly. And over time, this creates a gap between you and those who are still reacting without thinking. This is what it means to stay ahead. Not by chance, but by design. Not by force, but by clarity. At this point, the difference is clear. One person moves through life reacting, hoping things work out. The other moves with intention, seeing patterns, choosing actions, and preparing before problems even appear. You now understand what separates those two paths. And more importantly, you know how to choose yours. Now this is where most people fall off, and where your real test begins. Not what you heard, but what you do next. Because understanding these ideas is easy, using them every day is where most people fail. The world will test you almost immediately. Someone will say something that pushes you. A situation will come up where reacting feels easier than thinking. Old habits will try to pull you back into how you used to act. This is where your choice shows. You either go back to reacting without thinking, or you stay aware and apply what you've learned. It won't always feel natural at first. Pausing, observing, holding back, thinking ahead, these take effort in the beginning. But the more you do it, the stronger it becomes. Start small. In your next conversation, listen more than you speak. In your next challenge, pause before you respond. In your next decision, think about the long-term result, not just the quick win. These small actions begin to change how you operate. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to start. Because once you begin, you'll notice the difference. You'll see more, understand more, and make better choices. And over time, those small changes turn into a completely different way of moving through life.